Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to do your clock project. So I have Visual Studio here already open. I'm going to create a new project. So I want to pick a language. We're going to use C Sharp. The platform is Windows, and we're going to use a desktop application. What you want to create is a Windows Form app and hit Next. So for this, you're going to say your first name, dot last name, and I would just call this clock. Put a dot after your last name, say clock, and hit create. Takes a few minutes for it to come up, and there it is. So when it comes up, make sure that it's highlighted. Go over to the properties window, find the name. You want to change it to form clock. You want to come down and you want to find auto auto size mode. You want to turn auto size off. That's false. And then you want to find, let's do this by category. You want to find the form body style, and you want to change that to fixed tool window. Alright, so now that you've done that, now you can concentrate on other things. Like, let's give the form a text. So go down and find text. The easiest way to do it is sort it alphabetically. And there's the text. You want to call it clock. So just type in clock next to text. And you'll notice right up here on the window, it says clock. Now you can change the background color of your window. Let's say you can change it to any color you want. Let's say we change it to something a little more dramatic. Blue. So now it's blue. Well, what if we want a background image? So we go down the image, we hit the image, we say import, and we go to pictures, find out where you keep your pictures. Uh, Save pictures, screenshots. I don't have any pictures. It's kind of boring. Okay, so I have some pictures of my family. Let's see if I can find something that would be interesting. Oh, look, I can use this one. It's just demonstrational purposes. So, not everything fits. This is actually an army picture of mine. So, if you want to go to background layout, this says tile. What if I say center? There you go. This is uh this is a bunch of guys I used to serve with in the army. Let's make that so that it looks a little bit. There you go. Make that Now that you have a background image, you want to put some labels on there. The labels are in the toolbox. Sometimes it takes a little bit effort for the toolbox to populate. In this case, there was an error. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to save this real quick. I'm going to close it down. I'm going to open up Visual Studio one more time. Y'all shouldn't have to do this. I'm going to go back to my clock project. There it is. They won't feed back. And there's my tools. So I need 2 labels. So they're in common controls. You'll see the label. Just click on one, drag it, and put it on the screen. And do the same thing with another one. Put it on the screen. So let's click on the first one. The back color is blue. We don't need a blue background color. We need a web color, and it needs to be transparent. So let's see if we can find transparent. You can always type it in, I suppose. There it is all the way to the top. No, not black. Transparent. So notice that it blended in. Do the same thing here. And you want to say that one too is transparent. Alright, but you can't really see the text. We'll take care of that in a minute. Click on one of them. You need to give it a meaningful name. So you come over here and you find the name field and you say label time. Let's go to the other one, and you want to give this one label date. Let's go back to the first one real quick. I'm going to go down here to the text, and let's give it something the way it's going to look. So I'm going to put 00 space colon space 00 space colon 00 AM. And you notice it changes over here. Now we want to adjust the size of that font. It needs to be a pretty good size font. So I'm going to say 72 and hit OK. This needs to be actually format. Let's move this up so it's up here. Now if you click on it and you go to Format, Center and Form, horizontally, it'll center that horizontally left and right. And we go to the other one and we adjust its font to be, let's say, I said 72, let's say 20. And say OK. And we want this guy to be down here. And we also want to say Format, Center and Form, horizontally. So he's centered in the form horizontally. But what we need is for him to be there. So he's no longer center. So you give him the longest possible, or you can eyeball it. I'm going to eyeball it. Or you can come up here and say Format, Center in form horizontally. So he's centered in the form horizontally. The text at the top is pretty visible. The text at the bottom is not. You can always change the forecolor to something that's a little more visible and stands out a little more. You can use your discretion at this, but I'm going to use red. And same at the bottom. I'm going to come into the controls, and I'm going to come down, and I'm going to go to web. I'm going to click red, so it's easily seen. The other thing is, on these fonts, you need to use a monospace font. Any font in this box that is bolded is a monospace font. I like to be very specific with the ones I use. I don't like to get all fancy. You can get as fancy as you want. Find a good one. This monospace font will keep it from blinking. Or jittery. It'll keep it from being jittery. I'm going to go with stencil since this is a military theme. So we have stencil. I want to come down here to this one, and we want to turn it to stencil also. Because we want to be consistent. There. Now that we have that, what you need to do is you need to add a timer. So if you go back to your controls, you can come down to components. You'll see timer. Just grab a timer and drag and drop it on the screen. It's there. You need to come over to the properties, and you need to enable it, set it to true. Then you need to set the interval to 1,000 or 1 second. And that's it for the user interface. Just double click the timer, and it'll wire up an event that will fire automatically when the elapsed time ends. That's called a tick event. You just wired up a tick event that will run every second. Well, inside the tick event, you need to capture a date time object. We always say date time now is equal to date time dot now. You just took a snapshot of date time. It's like taking a picture of somebody. The picture doesn't continue to move. It's a freeze frame. That's exactly what we have here. The date time object now is a picture of datetime.now. Datetime.now though will continue to tick. Well, we have two labels on the screen. We need to this dot label time. The IntelliSense is helping us, so we'll select time. You always put a string in text, so you say text, and then you need to say now dot toString, and then this is where we give it a format. So what you want to give it is HH space colon space minute space. Oh look, that's supposed to be a colon, not a semicolon. Second space. If you're doing AM or PM, you say TT, and that's it. So then you have the day. This dot label date dot text is equal to now, which is a date time object, dot toString. You say month, 4 M's, comma. Then you want to say, you want to say day, 1, 2, 3, 4, comma, month, 1, 2, 3, 4, comma, day, D, that's not how it is, D for day, 2 days, and comma, year. This was in your homework assignment, by the way. Let's build this out by hitting the green triangle. It'll take a second for it to compile and present to the screen. Done. That's all you really have to do to make your project work. Well, there's other things you can do too. Well, what if we didn't want the seconds? So let's get rid of the seconds. But if you don't want the seconds, that means you have to create a format. So you say string format is equal to see. And then now we want to get rid of the colon, because if you don't show seconds, the colon has to blink. So if you say if this dot label time dot contains colon, then you're going to say format is equal to hour space 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 minute dot tt for AM or PM, and hit a semicolon. Then you take your format and you put it in the toString right here for the display of the date time. But I messed up. This should say text. So it should read this.label.text.contains. So if we run this, notice there is a jitter. That should not be jittering like that. This is one of the things that I want you to try to accomplish without having a jitter. So if it's going back and forth, so either I have too many spaces here, or I don't have enough spaces. Space, colon, space. Or I may be just using the wrong font. In this case, I may be using the wrong font. Yes, I'm using the wrong font. So what you would end up doing is going back to your UI, the design, and you would need to change the font. So you come over here, you find your font, and you change the style, see, to something that will not jitter. Let's try this Bernard text. Okay, and we hit. It's still jittering a little, but it's not too bad. What we do want to do is recenter this in the app so it looks right. So you need to go take care of your, and then format, center and form horizontally, and hit play. Let's move this over here because it looks like it's in there. And that's all you really have to do to make your clock app work. I hope you guys can figure this out. I'm going to show this code over here just one more time so you can see what it looks like. Let you soak it in just a little bit. And you guys have fun. Get this project done. It's due in a few days.